welcome back to the Blu-ray Hunter. I'm the Blu-ray Hunter, Jonathan Moody, and I've got a fun show for you guys. We're going to be doing a Blu-ray Hunter reviews, Gaslight, which I have right here. I watched on the Warner Archives, thing. Apparently this was done by MGM, but then MGM's catalog went to like Time Warner Classics, and Time Warner Classics got bought out by Warner Brothers, so Warner Brothers owns all of them, and so this movie is one of them. Which they also have the original 1940 version, so that's interesting. And so it was, yeah, I got to watch this movie, and I'm really excited to talk about it. Uh, I was shocked. I mean, I sort of knew that this was a pretty good psychological thriller, but I mean, this was really well done. I mean, this almost felt like something that could be made today and still like work, the way that was. Now, of course, the time period and like, having coaches and other things, a certain look and everything was wonderful, but it wasn't, that's not today's stuff or whatever. It's not, it's not made for today. But wonderful anyway. I had an absolute blast. So this movie's about this woman whose aunt got murdered. And the person that killed the aunt was looking for her jewels. You find out later that those jewels cannot be sold. So like whatever they were looking for didn't matter because there's nothing they could do about it because they were crown jewels. Like, how can you sell crown jewels? You can't. I mean, at that time, you definitely could. I don't know. I guess nowadays you could do it in the black market, but back then, I don't think they really had that, like a black market like that or whatever, underground black market where they could sell these things or whatever. So you couldn't really do that. So it was funny because in the end, really, I mean, even finding the jewels didn't mean anything. They're just useless. And it's so funny because at the end of the movie, I'll get to that. So throughout the movie, you meet Ingrid Bergman, who is this wonderful woman who is a singer, but her passion for singing is lost because she's fell in love, and she fell in love with this guy, Charles Boyer. Charles Boyer plays this, composer, pianist guy who has been with her, and I guess they fell in love, but really, he knew that that was the niece of the aunt and that she would own the estate. So he thought, his idea was if I get married to her, I can go looking for the jewels. Now, had he just not told her that he was the killer, you know, and he just said, "Hey, let me go up to that attic every once in a while and whatever," or even just whatever, like she would have been standing by his side. She loved him. She would have been like he had to do was love bomb her, which she did constantly. Like, and then she just was, petty in his hands. Instead, he gaslights her, which is the title of the movie, Gaslight. So I don't know. Did I even say the title of the movie? I think I did. But yeah, I must have. Um, but yeah, so he gaslights her, and he does all of these manipulation tactics. He love bombs her, and then he makes her feel like crap, when she's not giving him enough love, or he starts to he starts to steal stuff. Like he'll give her a brooch and tell her before he gives her the brooch that she's losing her memory and she's forgetting things or whatever. But hold on, keep it safe here. And I was like, uh-oh, no, that's going to disappear and it's going to be him who took it. Because that is stuff that people do nowadays to really F with people's minds. They will steal stuff from people and then say, "Hey, where did it go? Let me help you find it." Pretty messed up shit. But he did that, he would do that for manipulation tactics. He's a narcissist before we even knew what a narcissist really was. Yeah, that this guy is the true definition, which is silly. Because, like I said, at the end of the night day, she even says to him, if you had just told me that you wanted the jewels, I would have helped you look for them. You know, like I don't understand why he went through all this stuff. He went through all this drama and all this craziness for no reason at all. You know, it was so silly. Um, so there was a lot of Hitchcock, so I've talked about this. I did for horror film lovers, first time watch Fridays, I had done um Homicidal. Have you ever seen Homicidal? It's a great movie. But I did Homicidal, that's a William Castle movie. And I actually like this a little bit more than that, but we'll get into that. I think I gave that one 3.5 stars. I'm giving this one 4 stars out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really a lot of fun. And it was, but it's not a perfect movie or anything like that. And but it does have, I mean, it was an Academy Award winning movie. I think I know Ingrid Bergman, I believe, won like an Academy Award for this, and she deserved it. Oh my God. The stuff that the guy put her through and how she handled it, and how her character and how crazy she must have felt. You know, she heard thumping in the upstairs, which was and the title Gaslight. So a lot of people probably just use the word gaslight, but they never actually knew where it came from. It came from this play, where in the play, and I think in the movie, but more so in the movie, I know for sure, the guy would turn up the gas and make her think, like light up the gas and make her think that the gas, and make her think like, well, there's nobody else doing it. How is this happening? And then they would say, "Oh no, there's, nobody else is here but you, you and me, or whatever." And I didn't do it, so you couldn't have been lit up. And it was lit up by Charles Boyer's character. He wouldn't allow her out. He wouldn't allow her to socialize, only because if anybody meddled in their affairs, they might find out what he's up to. So it's all about him. He wanted to keep her away from everybody because, there's no, anytime she tried to walk, I think she was too afraid to go out because she was too afraid. Like he sort of made her afraid to just like leave the house. That's crazy. Like to me, that's nuts. But that's what narcissists do. They make you be so afraid to leave the house, you can't even leave the house. So it was nuts. It was one of those movies where there was a lot that happened in it. Like it's only an hour and I think I want to say hour and almost 2 hours long. I mean, it's almost 2 hours long, but like a lot happens in the movie, and I feel bad. And Joseph Cotton's character plays this, I think he's a detective. Uh he's not he's not like, yeah, he's a detective because he goes out into the area where all the cops are and stuff and starts talking to one of the guys. So he's a big time detective. He's trying to get to the bottom of everything because he knows there's something going on, you know, with the husband and stuff. And so they also have this nosy old lady. Um who is wonderful. She was in a few Alfred Hitchcock movies. She was in was it The Lady Vanishes as the lady who vanished, and she's in this as this like she's on a train again, and in this movie she's talking about a book. When you first see her, she's talking about a murder book she's read and stuff like that, and how wonderful it is to read these books and find out what's going on with it, and you want to know the ending, and it's so suspenseful. And I was just like, that is, yeah, that's almost out of a Hitchcock thing. So George Cukor, who was the director of it, he had to have been like a Hitchcock fanatic as well. I don't know, but or whatever. Like they must have been friends. I wonder if, hold on, let me find out real quick. Was Gaslight ever offered Hitchcock? I doubt. I don't think it was. but this feels like something that would have been offered to Hitchcock. Um, let's see. Let's find out online. While Gaslight shares thematic elements with Hitchcock's suspense thrillers, there's no evidence to suggest that the project was ever offered to Hitchcock. The film is directed by George Cukor and based on Patrick Hamilton's play. Hitchcock was active during that period, directing films such as Rebecca and Shadow of a Doubt. Shadow of a Doubt, a wonderful Joseph Cotton movie where he played the killer. So it was really nice that he got to play the detective in this, got to switch it up and do something different. Um, you know, but he tried to use manipulation and everything with his niece. So there's like a lot of similarities because there's the niece in this, there's the, or whatever, but um the the it's just it's interesting what the depths of what we'll do for greed, to get our hands on that money and everything like that. It's just wonderful, crazy, and the fact that he makes her seem like she should be in a nut house. He's like, I think he says she's going to go away for a long time. There's two implications for that. He's going to put her in a crazy house and stuff, and then he's going to kill her. So there's one or two situations with that. He doesn't get to do both or neither of those. So thank you. Um, Angela Lansbury's in it, which is interesting because so I'm watching this I watched th three movies that were this included, but The Uninvited, which is a ghost story that Hitchcock did turn down. Homicidal, that was directed by William Castle and was a ripoff of Psycho, so it was a Hitchcock like, thing. And then this one, which had elements of Hitchcock. I didn't like this that could be a great triple feature, to be honest. If you watch that back to back, they're all different, but they're all wonderful. And they all have elements of like the Hitchcock stuff. And I'm a huge like Hitchcock is literally my favorite director of all time. So when I see movies that are adjacent to him, I just fall in love. The movie Charade is adjacent to him. I can't wait to do that on Criterion Watch at some point. There's a lot of great movies. So I highly recommend this one. But Angela Lansbury's in it and her mother was in The Uninvited. So there, and then the maid in this one also is the maid in The Uninvited. So there's and there's things like, and they were made at the same time as each other, 1944. So there's so much wonderful stuff that that connects, you know, that time period. I mean, man, like I've always said I kind of want to go back to the 90s or 80s or whatever, but if I couldn't do those two, I'd want to go back to 1940s. 1940s had some great time period of like cinema and all this other stuff happening that it just would have felt lovely. I don't know. Especially in Hollywood, the golden era, kind of thing. I would have loved to be around there. Maybe one day I'll write a movie about it, but I have to do a lot more research and stuff and whatnot. And maybe I'll have to watch a lot more 1940s movies. Probably gonna happen. But I know I just did I did Shop Around the Corner for what is it? For rewatch and review. So I don't know. I'll have to find another 1940s movie that could be like something else to put on one of these things because I really enjoy the 1940s is my favorite like time period of the golden age, of cinema. So, 1930s had some fun stuff too, but like especially the late 1930s when it's getting closer to the 40s. I think that's when I started really liking this stuff. Um, but yeah, it's just wonderful. I love this movie. I had a blast with it. The ending, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. The ending of it with basically uh the detective Joseph Cotton coming in and basically telling the maid that he's here for her, blah blah blah, and the maid's trying to get him out and everything. And the woman comes down and they start talking, and he starts to kind of figure it out. Like he knew that the guy was manipulating her and making her, you know, and then there was something going on, and he could see that the guy would go out. Why would he go all the way out and go around? Won't he go out around so he could get into the attic, without being seen? But I don't. Once again, I don't know why he didn't feel like he needed to just go up there into the attic. Like all of my aunt's things are up there. Well, why didn't you just go, "Hey, I'm gonna go play in the attic," or I need to work in the attic, every night. And why did he have to gaslight her? Like why? I don't understand any of that. That's probably my biggest plot hole issue with the movie. And probably what kind of ruins it from being like 5 stars in my opinion is just like after a while I was just like, okay, this guy didn't need to do that. Like he could have, and maybe he wanted to do it, maybe he enjoyed doing it, but he didn't. I don't know. I can tell he seemed to enjoy doing it because he kept going back to that thing and everything. I do love the fact that he was like, "There's a knife in the," he's all tied up, and she's like, "There's a knife in the drawer over there. Go grab it and cut me loose." And she's like, "There's no knife in here, sweetie. There's no knife in here. I must have forgot where I put it. Where this knife? Where'd it go? I don't know." Ingrid Bergman, man, she is one of my favorites. Her, Joan Fontaine, Grace Kelly. Oh man, Janet Leigh. There's some great fucking blonde women out there that Hitchcock worked with that I just absolutely love. I absolutely loved her in this. She did such a great job. She just blew my mind. Audrey Hepburn I love too, and all everybody that used to work with that used to work with Hitchcock or those people around that area. Oh, at this time period, once again, I just love it. And they didn't do it. It doesn't. It feels like a 1940s film, but doesn't feel like. I mean, because it wasn't set, I don't think, in the 1940s. They had, still cars and everything. They had horses, carriages and things. But it was just wonderful. The freaking costumes, everything, just wonderful. If you haven't seen the movie, please go watch it. I spoiled some stuff, so sorry, but I had to talk about that because the ending is great. I mean, there's no other way I'd end it. You know, I guess by the end that maybe the detective and her fall in love a little bit or have like a thing. There's just a little. Are they going to kind of do that? But it didn't matter because there was never going to be a Gaslight Part Two. But I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was great. If you haven't seen it, please go see it. I think you'll highly enjoy it. So until then, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will talk to you later. Bye.